All right, so we're getting to some of the bigger stuff right now. So for this problem set, it says convert each quadratic from standard form to factored form. We do not know how to do that yet, so we're going to have to learn. What we do know is, so this is our factored form, and we know how to get this into this. How do you do that? Well, we distribute, right? So this, to go from this way to this way, we distribute. But how do we go the other direction? How do we go from this to this? Well, we're going to use a process called factoring. Okay. And now factoring is a big mathematical task. We're going to get to all kinds of different factoring. But what you want to know about this term, factoring, super important. It's the opposite. So factoring is the opposite of distributing. Okay. So how do we do it? Well, we're going to start with some basic problems. And tying into the previous video, we're going to start with binomial quadratics. There are two terms, so it's a binomial. So let me go ahead and grab all this. Let's put that to the side for a second. Okay. So how do we do this? Well, all you need to do, so just watch. It's much easier to watch and then just practice it a few times. When it's a binomial, so this is specifically for binomials, only works for binomials, meaning there's two terms. What you want to do is you want to say to yourself, what do each of these terms have in common? Okay, well, let's think about this. First, we want to think x times x is really, x squared is really x times x. So that's really this. And this is 2x. So what do they both have? Well, they both have an x. They have an x here, and then this has two x's, but it has at least one x. They both have at least one x. What you're going to do is, I'm going to use this terminology quite a bit. You're going to pull that out, pull that x out of here. Now, what does that look like when you do that? Well, it looks like this. You're going to pull that x out over here. Then you put in your parentheses, and then whatever's left, you keep. So what was left in this term, you had x. You still have your plus sign. What was left in this term? Well, you have a 2. So, boom. That is your factored form of the quadratic of this binomial. Okay, that's what it looks like. How do we know that this is right? Well, because if you distributed this, what would you get? Well, if you distributed x times x, you get x squared. If you take x times 2, you get 2x. So you should be able to distribute to go back, and that's how you can check your work, is by distributing. So that works. Let me give you one more example. We'll do it really quick. So I'll just make this up right now. Y equals, let's say, x squared minus 3x. And the good thing is these are going to look the same often. So we do always want to remember that this is x times x. Okay, and then we have minus 3x. So what do they both share? Well, they both have an x in this case as well. So we're going to pull that x out, pull this x out. Boom. We pull that out over here. What's left? X. What's left over here? Minus 3. So you get y equals x times x minus 3. If you distribute it, you would get back to this. So that's the basic, how do you distribute binomial quadratics? Sorry, how do you factor binomial quadratics to go from your standard form to your factored form?